Today we're doing math page 119 and 120. Proper and improper fractions. And Zephaniah 3:17 says, "The Lord your God in your midst, the mighty one will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing." So as we look at the yellow box at the top of page 119, it tells us two facts here, one being about what a proper fraction is, and the other being about what an improper fraction is. We're going to, after today, know the difference between the two. Fact 1 says, a proper fraction is a fraction having a numerator that is less than the denominator. And they show us an example here of 3 over 4. 3 over 4. Because the numerator is less. 3 is less than 4. Numerator being less. So a proper fraction is when you have a smaller number on the top. For example, 1 over 4 would be a proper fraction. Or 8 over 16 would be a proper fraction. Anytime that the bigger number is on the top, then you know that it is a proper fraction. Now, fact 2 says an improper fraction is a fraction having a numerator that is equal to or greater than the denominator. So they're saying if it's equal, if you have 4 over 4, that's an improper fraction. Or anytime that the bigger number is on top, that also is going to be an improper fraction. All of these are examples of improper fractions. So simply put, an improper fraction has a bigger number on top. Also, you got to remember if it's equal, then it's improper as well. So let's look at the chart down below. It says to complete it, they've done the first one for us. Numerator is 7 because there's 7 filled in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Denominator is 4 because in one whole there would be 4 spots, 4 possible fills. And so the fraction is 7 over 4. And then at the end they asked, was it proper or improper? It was improper because there's a bigger number on the top. Okay, for the second one, the numerator would be 1 because there's 1 part filled in. The denominator would be 3 because there's 3 possible parts filled in to make a whole. And our fraction would be 1/3. That would be a proper fraction because the smaller number is on top. The third one they have for us here, the numerator would be there's 8 slices that are there. The denominator is how many slices to make a whole. That'd be 8. And our fraction would be 8 over 8. And remember the rule said if it's the same, just like up here, 4 over 4, it's improper. Okay, next we have these purple fill-ins. There's 3 of the half circles filled in. 2 of them would make a whole, and so our fraction is going to be 3 over 2. And there's a bigger number on top, and so again we have a improper fraction. We have an improper fraction. Number 2, we're just going through all of them and circling which ones are improper. Remember, they're improper if the bigger number's on top, or if it's the same top and bottom number. So 7 over 8, that's not improper, so we won't circle it. 4 over 3, that is, because the bigger number is on top. 2 over 2, it's the same, so that is improper. 3 over 8, we don't do anything to it. 4 over 9, we don't do anything to it. 6 over 5, the bigger number's on top, so we need to circle it. 5 over 9, we don't do anything to it. And 5 over 5, we do circle it. (3a), it says follow the signs, reduce if necessary. Okay, so we've got mixed numbers here. We've got to add up our fractions first. Our denominator will be 8. And we add up our numerators, and that would be 2. 4 plus 9 would be 13, plus 6 more would be 19. So we have 19 and 2 8s. Problem, though, says we need to reduce if necessary. 2 8s, that can be reduced. So I'm going to rewrite 19 and what goes into 2 and 8? 2 does. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 8 4 times. And our answer is going to be 19 and 1/4. That is the reduced answer. I'm going to have you guys do the rest on your own. Before you do, though, I'm going to help you to do that. This here is a picture of all the presidents that we've had in the past of the United States. Our first one, where it says number 1, we've got George Washington, and then John Adams, number 2. Number 3 is Thomas Jefferson. 4 is James Madison. 5 is John Monroe, and so on. John Quincy Adams. Number 7 is Andrew Jackson. 8, Martin Van Buren. You're going to have all these different presidents all the way down to our more current ones. I thought it'd be kind of fun to tell you some facts about some of these different presidents. There's a president, Theodore Roosevelt. He's the 26th president that we've had right there. And his nickname was Teddy Roosevelt. He was presented with a koala from Australia. And Roosevelt, who he liked animals and was well known for that, he so praised the creature that a copy of it was made for children. And they called it the teddy bear in the president's honor. And the toy caught on, and soon almost all the kids around would have a teddy bear. Grover Cleveland, I'm trying to find him here. He had a mustache. Kind of interesting. Grover Cleveland, if you see, he's number 22 here. He's also number 24. So that means he was president, then he wasn't, and then he was. That's kind of interesting. You don't see that with any of the other presidents. He was the only president to be married while he was in the White House. He got married while he was in the White House. James Madison he was 5 feet 4 inches tall. He was the shortest president of the United States. And then the tallest president of the United States, I bet some of you might know this, number 16, Abraham Lincoln. During World War I, that'd be in the 1910s, Woodrow Wilson, he's right here, number 28. His wife, she grazed sheep on the front lawn of the White House. And then President William Taft, he was a very big man. Looking for President William Taft. Number 27. He weighed 352 pounds. I told you he was a big president. Here's something kind of crazy. You know, July 4th, it's Independence Day. It's a special day for our country and special day for all the presidents. On July 4th, Thomas Jefferson, so he's the third president, and John Adams, the second president, and James Monroe, so he's the fifth president, they all died on July 4th. And kind of even crazier, Jefferson and Adams, they say they died on the same minute, on the same day. The second and third president, they both died on the same minute, on the same day. Remember we were talking about Theodore Roosevelt? He was the youngest president ever to take office. He was 42 years old. Now, President John Tyler, the 10th president, he had 15 children, the most that any president has ever had. And when Abraham Lincoln became president, kind of interesting, at his inauguration, that's where they put the president in office. It's kind of a celebration. It's when he begins being the president. There were actually, people come to see it. And there were 4 future presidents that were there in attendance. Hayes and Garfield and Arthur and Harrison. They were all there. And they didn't even know they'd one day become president yet. They were all there, though, when Lincoln had his inauguration. The 15th president, James Buchanan, he was the only U.S. president never to marry. And our first president, George Washington, interesting fact, he never had any kids. Now, he married a lady named Martha, and she had 4 children from a previous marriage, but Washington, he never had a child of his own, and so there's no descendants from George Washington. What would you think if I told you George Washington was not the first president of the United States? There's a man named John Hanson. You may have to look up him if you're interested in finding out more about this. Our 18th president, Ulysses Grant, Ulysses S. Grant, was once arrested during his term of office, a president, and he was arrested. The reason why he was arrested? He was convicted of exceeding the Washington speed limit on his horse and was fined $20. President Franklin Pierce, he was arrested also while in office for running over an old woman with his horse. But the case was dropped because there wasn't enough evidence saying that he did it. Robert Todd Lincoln, and that's the 16th president, Abraham Lincoln's son. He happened to be there at the assassinations of 3 presidents. He was there when his father died. When President Garfield died, he was there too. And then he was also there at President McKinley's death. After that one, he refused ever to attend anything that had the presidents again, because he probably felt like he was going to bring death to them some reason because he was there. Anyways, those are all some fun facts about the presidents. When I was your guys' age, I was really into learning about the presidents and learning about the order of who was the first president, who was the second president. And hopefully this was interesting to you guys. And hopefully it helps you to finish up your math page. You guys are so smart. I believe in you. Here's another list of the presidents. Here's your number 1 and 2, 3. And they go on this way. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and so on, all the way up to our current presidents.